changes have meaning. The changes have meaning. The changes have meaning. Did you know the Mandela effect is actually a big puzzle? Big puzzle? Puzzle? Now, I have something else to tell you. A personal experience. It has to do with a name change. It is not easy to believe. I know some of you won't believe it, but this story is true. What I have noticed over time is that the more you study the Mandela effect, and the more closely you examine these things that are changing, the more likely you are to be in close proximity to the Mandela effect as it happens. I have had experiences that I am not going to share with you because I know no one will believe it. But I will tell you this. If you are researching the Mandela effect, if you know what is really happening and you are focused on it and trying to get the word out, speaking out, struggling, the power behind the Mandela effect is aware of you. Yes, you. I'm sure of it. But this name change I saw, I will share with you. It's the real reason for this bonus video. If you can hang with this, you are a true Mandelian. I have written 3 books about the Mandela effect. That's 3 years of my life, working 2 day jobs, but putting all my free time into these books. I have always had an above-average spelling ability. It is starting to wane, I will admit. But here's me when I had hair. I had to research so many things and read so much to write these books. Before you put something down in a book with your name on it, you need to make sure it's right. I work a good distance from home, and I often had a long break between jobs that I would spend in my car using free Wi-Fi. I wrote a lot of my book in my car with a USB keyboard attached to a Kindle tablet. I would type right into my email and then cut and paste it into Microsoft Word at home. That's just a little background for the story. Around October 2021, I was proofreading my 3rd book, trying to finish it. I was hoping to get it submitted and up for sale on Amazon soon. Around that time, I found a mistake in my 2nd book that was already for sale on Amazon. This prompted me to proofread the entirety of Book 2 one last time. When I got to the part about the Da Vinci Code being a message movie, I immediately noticed something I didn't recognize. A name was spelled wrong. It is the supporting actor in The Da Vinci Code who played Tom Hanks' acquaintance turned enemy, Lee Teabing. Initially, I was shocked. I thought, what is this? This isn't how his name is spelled. What is this doing in my book? This isn't even the right name. I immediately opened up my browser and looked him up. Google corrected what I typed in, and there it was, all over the Google results. The man's name changed in the course of 6 or 7 months since I wrote the book. This is the actor who played Gandalf in Fellowship of the Ring and who plays one of the main characters in a very funny British sitcom called Vicious. The name I saw in my book was Ian McKellen, and I had never seen that name in my entire life. When I looked him up on Google, I found that his name is Ian McKellen. I have never seen that name in my entire life either. So not only has his name changed in real life, on his website, his movies, and his Wikipedia page, but I spelled it wrong in my own book every single time I wrote it? Absolutely no way. The very next thing I did was to get up and go outside to find Sharon. I knew what this British actor's name really was. Sharon was watering her plants. I said, honey, I gotta ask you what you remember. It's a Mandela effect thing. She said, okay. I said, what was the name of the actor that played Tom Hanks' friend in the Da Vinci Code, the English one? She had to think. I said, the one that was one of the 2 gay guys in our show, Vicious. She said, oh, Ian McKellen. I said, yes, exactly. Well, his name changed. She said, what? I said, oh yeah, I'll show you when you come in. His name was Ian McKellen. I still remember sitting in my car in the parking lot of my job researching Ian McClellan as I wrote my second book. I had to look up the name of the movie he was in when he played Gandalf. One of his lines in that movie was changed by the Mandela effect. I saw his name on imdb.com. I read part of his Wikipedia page. I looked up the show Vicious online. I looked up the Gandalf Mandela effect on alternatememories.com. This man's name was Sir Ian McClellan, not McKellen, and not McKellen. McClellan. That was his name. And Sharon was blown away by this one too. So here's a treat. Sharon has agreed to lend her voice to this story, and I just want everyone to hear from her perspective what that moment was like when I came outside and told her about this discovery.
Well, when you first asked me what this name was, with the Da Vinci Code, I didn't remember. But when you said Vicious, one of my favorite comedies, I, of course, remembered it was Ian McClellan. And then you asked me to say it slower, and I said McClellan. And I remember that you said his name had changed, and I remember being very shocked because the Mandela effect changes are still ongoing. Like, when does this stop? Is it ever gonna stop?
So later that day, when you were inside at your desk, I took out the Da Vinci Code and I showed you on the back of the box how his name is spelled now on the movie. You looked him up because you were at your desk. Tell me about that.
After seeing the name change on the back of the Da Vinci Code movie, I go to Google and I type it in and I see the name change. And I, of course, am shocked. I don't know that I necessarily saw his name written down before. I am a terrible speller, but I do know I've always pronounced his name Sir Ian McClellan for as long as I know. And since the man is old and I am old, I can tell you I've been saying it that way for many, many decades.
That was very compelling. Thank you very much, babe. You're the best. So there you have it. A true story from the Green household. Things are crazy, but you don't have to be. Sharon says, unless you want to be. See you next time.